G'day everyone, welcome to another video where we are going to provide you with a heap of value, 6 free plugins that you should get to complement your iRacing or sim racing journey, whether it be for data analysis, whether you want great looking overlays or just more information in general while you are racing. These plugins will help you. So let's get straight into the video, and as always, if you do get any value out of the video, we'd love it if you could click that subscribe button and give it a like, or even drop a comment about your favorite moment in this video to help others watching. But as always, we don't want to waste your time, so let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so the first one I'm going to talk to you about is trading paints. Now this is a fairly commonly known plugin for iRacing, so tradingpaints.com. And basically what this is, you can go in and download it, but it allows you to run custom liveries on your car that you're driving in iRacing. So if we jump in here, we run the Ferrari quite often. So we'll have a look, Ferrari GT3. So you can see here that I can jump into the car. Now, normally if you were doing this new, you'd see that there's nothing here. So it would actually look, it would say no paint selected. We run the KFC livery, we always have on this particular car. We update it from time to time, but that's what we run. And you can pick to run that in a sim stamped number, so that'll be in like your official race, or you can use it to run in a custom number race as well. So if you're doing an official, if you're doing a series organized by someone else and you have to run a specific number, you can use that here, or where custom numbers are allowed. The other thing that it allows you to do as well is to customize the uniforms, or the driver suit and the helmet, and this will also apply to your pit lane crew as well, so you can adjust that there. It gives you a heap of different things to look at. So a lot of creative people make liveries for cars, so you can go in here to sort of this open marketplace, and again, they're all free. And you can literally find the car that you want. So we can look at trending. If we look at trending for, say, we go the Audi R8 LMS. We want to run that particular vehicle from everyone, and then you can have a look and it shows you what new liveries there are. And I'll tell you, some of these liveries are absolutely fantastic. People spend time replicating real life liveries if you've got a favorite team you want to run. So this is really where you'd want to, download and run this. It does run in the background of iRacing. You can set it up so that it starts up with your PC, so you don't have to turn it on when you do start iRacing, and it's always on in the background. It just runs as a little window here like this. It's not heavy, it won't slow your PC down or anything like that. It just sits in the background. So you can see start trading paints on system startup, automatically refresh paints. So you need that turned on so that when you do jump into a new race, that it will update the paints, and it does download them to run them in the background. I leave cleanup downloaded files when I exit iRacing on, just because I don't really want them sitting there, etc, etc. So you can see there's just a few small options here. And if you do want to go in and modify your paints during when you're in the sim, you can just click on My Paints and it will open up your trading paints window for you, provided you're logged in. One little thing that you do need to be aware of with this when you log in is that if I sign out here and just show you, when you go to sign in, you will need either the email address or your iRacing customer ID number. So if you're not aware of what that is, or you don't remember what that is, always good to write it down. And I have made another video just to show you some hidden bits and pieces on iRacing. I'll show you how to find that in that video. So that's the first one, trading paints. Definitely a must-have, particularly if you want to have a custom livery on your car. And it's free, as is in the title of this video, another free one to download. All right, so the second one I want to talk to you about today is SimHub. Now, it's well known, this app, you will have seen it, particularly if you're new and you're looking around the forums and you're asking questions. SimHub will be one of the ones that gets recommended to you first. Again, it is a free piece of software that you can use. You can buy a license, and the license, if you buy it, does allow for a little faster flow rates of information. Is probably the easiest one, but you also get 60 frames per second when you are using the paid version. Yeah, a little bit better in the effects that you can use, and auto startup on it as well. But at the end of the day, you don't have to pay for it to get the full advantage of the software. I've done both. I don't currently have the paid version set up. If you're not into iRacing and you're just looking at this video to see if there's anything in here that will benefit you, you can see that you can apply this software or use this software for your hardware on a number of different games, and you can manage them all from within SimHub itself. Just to give you a quick rundown on what you can do, the main bits that I use in this are actually for my steering wheel, which is a grid 911 replica rim with a DDU in it, so that I can run the DDU and the lighting and stuff on the wheel, and I'll again show you that in a separate video. I also use this to run, I've got two different sets of shaker motors on my rig. I've got the P1000 actuators on my Heusinkveld pedals, but I also have some shaker speakers that I've mounted to the front and rear of my sim rig, and that all gets run through here. So just to quickly take you through it, obviously you've got car settings, you can set shift lights, you can do a number of different base configurations in here in terms of changing colors and customizing a lot of the information that you would get on your accessories, so the light, color, etc., that you might use for your shift light, so the intervals at which they run, so that you can have a look at that. You can also customize the redline values and things like that. So if you are running cars that have different shift points, you can modify that as well. Obviously you can connect all your devices. So here's where I'm talking about with my my screen that I've got on my steering wheel, that I can customize a lot of the detail that I need here, but this is mainly where I add that device into SimHub so that it can show and I can use it. Dash Studio, again, the good thing here is that there's already some built-in basic modules. So this displays if you've got a DDU or you're using this to manage a phone that you've plugged in to use as a screen for your sim rig or an iPad, then again you can integrate that in here and then pick your custom screen that you want to see on that display. So currently I use the 911 RSR dash because it fits the wheel. Even though I'm driving a Ferrari, I want the wheel to look the way that the wheel should look, so I use that one in there. And again, you can go in and customize a lot of the stuff that's in here just to get things the way that you want them to look. I haven't spent a lot of time doing that purely because I am running a pre-built screen for the wheel that I have, but you can certainly jump in there and customize it, and you can even build these yourself and then upload them to SimHub to use. So this is for the lighting effects. So again, you've got different things that you can edit in here, and you can change different effects, change brightness, change the way that they look, change what appears in your lighting if you are using it for that, and basically modify everything the way that it looks on the plugin that you're using, or I should say the hardware that you're using the plugin for. With the base shakers, again, this is where you would, and it's turned off at the moment, but this is where you would use, so I normally run traction control, and this comes through the speakers that I've got mounted to the rig, and so I can feel when traction control is active, I get a small vibration, but I'm still playing around with this, to be honest. It's a new addition to my rig. But you can just see the vast number of settings that you can turn on to have the speaker replicate. So given now that I've got the motors attached to the pedal, to the haptic motors attached to the pedal, I'm really going to use them more for the traction control and for ABS. So with these base shakers, I'm going to use them more to look at something like road vibration or road rumble, because it then tells me, so if I enable road rumble, provides feedback on curbs and grass, So then I'll be able to actually get more immersion, but also get more feedback in terms of my driving, which is what I'm looking for from it. So when this is set up, I'll share some settings once I do some testing on it and see what it looks like. But you can see, in terms of a free piece of software, just how much this enables you to customize and adapt other products to your rig, and then connect them obviously to the outputs from the game. So shake it motors, that's what you would use for your haptics on the pedals. And then obviously you can play around with ambient lighting. Now I have this set up as well. So I've got the Phillips Hue lighting set up across the top of my rig, and that's basically what this does. So it takes a segment of the screen, and as you're moving, say you're coming into Spa at sunrise, it changes the lighting effect from the lights across the top of the sim. And again, that's controlled through here, so you can play around and do a lot of different things in here. But again, able to attach the Philips Hue lighting or Govee lights, if you've got those instead, into SimHub, and then SimHub obviously extracts the information it needs out of iRacing. This is a pretty simple one. This actually just runs straight off what it sees on the screen. So when I'm not in the rig, it literally changes the colors of the lights if they're on to what I've got on the screen. But again, not to labor on the point, free piece of software, and you can see just how much stuff you're able to do on your sim rig to enhance your immersion, as well as to adapt different bits of hardware to the game that you want to play. All right, so number 3 on my list is Crew Chief. Now, you'll probably ask why you need Crew Chief when there is an inbuilt spotter and Crew Chief in iRacing, and it's because of the customization more than anything else. So again, a totally free piece of software that you can download and install. And the best bit about Crew Chief for me is not only the number of games that it supports, so you've got all of your popular titles in there, but it's the ability to customize voice commands within the application, and also the ability to customize what it tells you. So if we have a quick look through this, first and foremost, you can obviously customize your name and what the Crew Chief is called. You can also customize the actions that you can say into it to enable voice commands. So things like, what's the car ahead's last lap time? You might ask it for a report on car damage if you've had an incident, how much fuel you've got left, how many laps are left in the race. And you can do all of this stuff either by pushing a button. You can do it by a trigger word, so you can say hey chief, or hey crew chief, or crew chief, and it will respond when you do that. Now, to be fair, I've got it disabled, and I've got it disabled deliberately because I've got a number of other ways of finding that information out without having to ask my crew chief. But I've got it set up so that it does give me just basic information. So gap to the driver in front, how many laps of fuel left, those types of bits of information that are important that I don't want to have to try and read on an overlay. It will tell me. So you can say I've set my name up there, Champ, just because I like a little bit of abuse from Jim. Speaking of abuse, one of the things that's pretty popular on this is your ability to turn on more abusive feedback from Chief. And I'm going to do a separate video on Crew Chief and getting the most out of it. But at this point in time, you can just see how many options you've got in terms of customizing things. So even down to how often you get reports, whether or not you get yellow flag messages, frequency of overtaking messages, so how many times people are passing people, and then really tailor it down to the information that you want to know and that you think you need to know when you're driving around. So this is something that will take you a little while to get yourself set up properly and how you like it, but it's definitely worth the effort because of the amount of information that you'll get and there's that use swearing messages tab that you definitely want to tick if you like it. He gets a bit angry, Crew Chief, and more than happy to hand out a little bit of abuse. So definitely tick that one if you like that sort of thing, or it keeps you entertained during your race. So Crew Chief, grab that one. Again, there is a link for the download in the description of the video. Alrighty, now this one's going to sound like a funny one or an obvious one, but it's definitely one that I think that you should look at, and that is getting yourself onto Discord. Now, it's obviously not a free plugin that will give you any information out of your sim, but certainly there are so many Discords relating to sim racing, and the one I've got on the screen right now is Welcome to SimHub. So if you've got any questions, if you're looking for, tips and tricks on using a particular piece of software, even down to people having made custom dashboards, and if you're looking for help on how to get a piece of software, a piece of hardware integrated into the software, it's a really, really good community to be able to be involved in. But obviously you need to be on Discord first to do it. So I would definitely encourage everyone to download Discord. You're probably already on it. It's probably an obvious one, but I just wanted to include it in the list here so that you knew that there's a great amount of resource on there for you to have a look at to add to your sim racing journey. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk to you about is VRS, or Virtual Racing School. So just punch in VRS into Google and it should come up there. You click on it and head to home. You got a whole heap of stuff that comes up here. They do peripherals and hardware as well. But the main thing that I wanted to talk to you about today is the telemetry side of what they offer. So if you go to the member platform, it should automatically pick up whether or not you've downloaded and installed the VRS telemetry logger. This is the telemetry logger here, and whenever you're in iRacing, this will have data sending to it. So it will record lap times, inputs, all of the information that it can extract from iRacing, and basically log all of that for you. Now, I run the paid version because I want some of the extra benefits, but even in the free version, you still get access to data packs. Now, you only get access to one series, and when it opens up here, so you can do VRS free, you get one sports car and one oval series. And so what that allows you to do, and you can see here, every week VRS update with track maps, track guides, I should say, in every car, across every series that they're running. They've got dedicated coaches that do laps around those series, and it will help you significantly identify things like brake markers, turn-in points, what gear you should be in, the ability to use certain elements of the track width that you might not pick up if you're brand new to iRacing. So I'm going to jump in quickly to the Spa session that they did, just to show you how this works. So they've got two laps here, one wet data lap and one dry data lap. You can see BOP, or balance of power, which it gets put into the GT3 category, is adjusted for the lap. It tells you the weather that you're using. And then if you click on this one here, it takes you through to the session details. So you can have a look at the video telemetry or the walkthrough laps. You can download setups, and you can also download ghost laps for you to practice against when you are doing a test session on iRacing. The other thing that it will do is to give you the information around how the car was set up and what tyre temperatures it achieved, what tyre pressures it achieved, and show you the best lap along with the track settings at that time, how much fuel it had as well, and you can have a look through a couple of other stints too. Now, the one thing that I think you'll get the most value out of in this, particularly once you set up the logger and do some laps, is the ability to have the VRS software analyze a session for you. So if you click on Analyze Session, you can pick here from the data pack that you've got access to. You can pick the lap that you want it to compare it to. So let's have a look at the fastest lap. And then here you can equally select me, select the session that you wanted or that you might have run, the practice session in this particular case, select my fastest lap, and then what it does is it will analyze the 2 laps and it will show you the differences between how you've driven the lap and how the coach has driven the lap, and it gives you all of this data. Now, I'm going to make another video on understanding what this data means and what's important, because when you're first getting into sim racing, this can be a little bit overwhelming. But you can see here it's identified 1.6 seconds where my lap time can improve against the pro. Now, you're not necessarily going to look at every single segment. You can see here in sector 1 I was faster, on at sector 2 a little bit slower at sector 3, but what you're looking for obviously is the bulk bits of time. So through turns 5 and 7 and 8 through 9, that's where I am a little slower than the coach. So you can go into just that specific sector if you want, and it will show you your braking trace, your throttle trace just down the bottom here. It shows you your wheel slips, your relative speeds as well, which is important, particularly if you're looking at long segments of the track that are straight, to understand where the differences are. And then it's got this handy little tool up here, if you click on it, which shows you chase view mode. And what it does is it shows you exactly how they've driven the track. So being the blue line here and then the red line. So this is actually taking us right from the start. This indicates where you're positioned relative to the coach on the track, and you can watch the whole lap to give you a full rundown on where you are. So this is on the run up to, it's this turn 3 and 4 up at Spa, and it'll show you relative car position. The other good thing it does as well is shows you how much track width you can use. You can jump on board with it, and there's also, if you do get the paid version, more advanced telemetry and more advanced data you can get out to really fine-tune what you're doing in the car. But obviously when you're first starting on iRacing, it's probably a little bit over the top for what you really need to do to just start getting more consistency and start getting a quicker lap time overall, by just recognizing the basic things that you're not quite getting right. So yeah, VRS, an absolute must-have. And as I said, the free version you can use, particularly when you're in rookies, because obviously you can just, when you only get to pick one of the data packs, you can start by picking the MX5. If we go back to home here and head back into data packs, you can just pick MX5, and obviously running that series, particularly if you're practicing, you can just jump in here and go to all series. And then obviously it's not advanced MX5 we're looking for. We are looking for is there the Global Mazda. So Jordan Caruso, who's an Australian V8 supercar driver, or a very experienced Australian racing driver, I should say. He's done this one here, so you can have a look at what's in this. So it's currently, as at making this video, done a Lime Rock Park track session, so you can jump into that one and compare it to your lap times and see how you can improve before you jump in and race to improve your iRating. So yeah, VRS, jump on that one and get the telemetry logger and spend some time with it. It's a really, really handy tool. I know there's other ones out there, but their base version is free as well, and it's very easy for you to set up and provides you with some good value. The next plugin I'm going to talk to you about is iOverlay. Now, before I start, there's lots of these sorts of companion softwares that you can run, including within SimHub. There is a plugin that you can use within SimHub to display more information, relevant information on an additional monitor that you might have. But I found that iOverlay is the best of the free ones. So you'd go to ioverlay.app and just click on the download now, and then obviously carry out the installation process that it wants you to carry out. So I'm going to assume that you have completed that process and that you're now greeted by this screen when you've installed iOverlay. So one of the things that you really need to make sure that you remember is this Control F6 function. So Control F6 will allow you to move all of the things that you set up as overlays around your screen. So if you are streaming, or if you're just wanting to see them on your main monitor while you're driving, Control F6 will take you into effectively like an editing mode, which will allow you to move things around the screen. So we'll show you that shortly. The other thing that is important is in the graphics settings, you need to set your maximum car value to 63. The reason for this is obviously it uses the telemetry data from iRacing to generate the information on your screen. And if you've got it set to like a lower value, say it's set to 20 cars, then the information that you get won't be as accurate as it could be, because it will only look at 20 cars at a time, not the whole field. So it may not be all that important for you if you're involved in smaller races, but particularly if you're using it for spotting, let's say, where you are in an endurance race, then you really want it to map every car on the track. So just be aware of that as well if you've got any issues with it not showing all of the data that you need to see. So once you've read through those warnings, it does come up here again with that Control F6 to tell you how to actually move those articles around. And this recently just went to a pro variable as well. So originally, when I started working on this video, all of this stuff, or a majority of this stuff, was free. They have introduced a payment gateway. Hasn't really changed my opinion though on how good this is as a free plugin for you for your sim racing experience. So as you come down through this menu, obviously you've just got your general bits and pieces that you can turn on and off. So I, for instance, show race control at startup, I turn that on. Start iOverlay minimized, I turn that on as well, so that it always starts up whenever I start up my sim computer. You can turn down a lower FPS value, but it does diminish the quality of the picture that you're getting. Next, across to the features. So obviously standings, relative, fuel calculator, these are all pretty obvious in terms of what they do. You can change the size of this overlay, you can change its opacity there as well. And another thing you may want to do is to turn this on and off. So I only have the overlay showing when I'm in the car or when I'm spotting, so it doesn't come up when I'm in the garage, and it doesn't come up when I am out of the car in terms of the standings. Shows you how many, you can alter this with a pro subscription, but you can alter how many the cars that are, so this is the top 3 cars will always be visible, and then it basically references where you're at on the track, and it shows you 3 drivers ahead and 3 drivers behind you. You can, if you want to pick a driver or show live position changes, you can turn these on and it will flash on the screen when those position changes. But the other things you can do is to go into here, and this is where you can turn on and off what you're actually seeing. So the position, class badge color if you are doing multi-class racing, the number of the car, team name, license, iRating. So this is a good one if you are looking to try and gain iRating. This will tell you your current position on track, whether you stand to gain or lose any iRating, what car they're driving, interval, fastest lap time, last lap time, and of course then you can turn on all these other things to show you. So tire compounds are a really good one to turn on if you're doing endurance racing, particularly where weather variation comes into effect. So I always run that. It's not 100% accurate, but it's 99% there, so a good one to have, as well as time in pit box, current stint length, and I also have the pit stop status on the screen as well. The last thing that you can do is you can drag these around in terms of their position that they turn up on your screen. So you might want to have the priority be the position and then the car number, so that you know, and then maybe the iRating, so that you can see that sort of stuff as soon as you look at it. So left to right across the columns when it appears on the screen. So you can muck around with this to turn it onto what you see fit. Then again, other bits and pieces that you can turn on with the pro category. So it'll show you if they're talking on screen, show you when they've had an incident. Again, really important if you are doing endurance racing, but generally good information to have if you are interested. So relative box, this is the one. So obviously you've got a relative box on iRacing that you can use. So you don't necessarily need to have a specific overlay to show you this, but if you want to have your black box set to a particular thing, you don't want to continually have to cycle through the pages to have a look at the relative box, then I encourage you to run this. I do. Again, turn it off when you're in the garage and out of the car, and again it'll show you 4 drivers ahead and behind, and it can also you can also put in those additional bits and pieces. Again, with the content, you can turn on a lot of things. Again, I turn on tire compound and have a number of these other ones turned on. So current stint length, time in pit lane and time in pit box. Again, a great one for you to have if you're doing endurance racing, if you're trying to work out timing, or if you're spotting. And again, you can move them up and down the list as you see fit to have the main ones that you want to have on and off. If you are streaming, you can show up your Twitch chat. You just need to link your account to it, and you can also have a track map visible there as well if you're streaming, so that your viewers can have a look at what you're doing. Again, there is a specific streaming section down here for this as well, so you can have a look through that if you need to. With fuel calculator, look, it's handy to have. It's not a must-do for mine. The fuel calculator in iRacing is pretty good if you're using that. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I did do a video, which I'll just post here, on things that are important to set up in iRacing when you first get started. But yeah, not necessarily one that I would use. If you are interested, look, there is a pro version of this. It's in euros, so it's 30 euros for 12 months, which if you're in Australia is around about $40. And look, probably worth it. Still cheap in comparison to some of the other overlays that are available. And as I said, this in terms of my choice is my favorite one. The inputs and input graphs, you would have seen similar things to that, and I'll do a video where with my pro subscription where I show you through this in depth. And the traffic indicator is a really good one. So this effectively will show you your left and right hand sides of the car when you have cars alongside you. So just to give you a better idea of your general track positioning too. So a good one to have. So keep an eye out. We're going to do a full review on iOverlay, including why it's good to get this the pro setup in a coming video. So there you go, iOverlay, add that one to your list of things that you want to get as a plugin to your rig. So there you are, there's some plugins for you that I think you really need to get hold of and add them into your plugins for sim racing. SimHub is an excellent tool that is free, and as I said, iOverlay, VRS, you've got Discord, there's plenty of free information on Discord, jump into the servers for leagues and all those other sorts of things that I mentioned in the video, in addition to getting Crew Chief in your ear to give you a hurry along when you need it in your race. What other ones have you found? This is just a list of the ones that I use. I'm sure there's other good ones out there. Drop a comment in the video to let me know what you use and what you find are the most useful tools on any of the plugins that you use. And as always, I'd appreciate a subscription. If you have enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe for us and help us hit that 1,000 mark that we are looking to get to in the next couple of weeks, and I'd really appreciate that. But until the next video, as always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your time, and happy racing.